Hello, everybody. Hey, guys. Welcome to 3D Hangout. Today is the 2nd of October, and I'm Matt Griffin, coming to you live from the heart of the Adafruit factory in New York City. And with me, as always, are Noe and Pedro Ruiz at Adafruit South. Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
Hey, Matt.
Hey, guys. Hey, everybody. I'm Noe Ruiz, designer here at Adafruit. Welcome to the 8th installment of 3D Hangouts. Pedro?
That's right. Hey, guys. I'm Pedro Ruiz, a creative technologist here at Adafruit. Matt, why don't you tell us what's on the show today?
Well, like every week, we come and we hang out here. We share the latest in 3D printing news, designs from the Adafruit Workbench, projects from the community, and all sorts of resources to help you make better projects with 3D printing and electronics. So today, we have a bunch of fun segments, and starting with our prototyping.
Right on. So prototyping is our first segment. We'll take a look at what we're working on. 3D news.
So we find all the cool news to share with you.
We have a weekly video.
That's right. Every week we have a 3D print project with electronics from Adafruit.
We got our layer by layer segment.
That's right. So we go over some CAD techniques.
And a community spotlight. Very special.
Yes, this week we're going to share about a designer, Greg Zumwalt, whose work I'd seen a little bit over the years, but now I got a chance to really enjoy a lot of it. We'll be sharing about his interest in Automata and mechanical toy projects. He has made some really great projects and shared them online. So what have you guys been prototyping?
Yeah, sure. We're going to start off with a future project that Pedro is working on with collaboration with Phil B. and Lamar.
That's right. We got our celebrity programmer, Phil B., who's cooked up this very awesome little circuit here. It's featuring a little retro-inspired... Oh, can't go too close. Little flying toasters there. They just made the case for that. Accommodates a Pro Trinket, LiPo backpack for recharging, and a vibration sensor for picking up when to turn on and off. This is a very cool idea brought up by our famous fashion model engineer, Lamar Freed. So be on the lookout for this.
Right on.
Very cute.
And we also have some interesting new products in the shop, 3D printed related. We have some more filament. We have colorful filament.
We got some blue and we got some green, transparent green filament. So
both in 175 and 3 mil.
And in PLA and ABS. So the blue is not too dark, not too light, sort of a standard blue. Very great. We did a little iPhone bumper case, and then a transparent green we got here. Very cool for putting like electronics in there, using it as a diffuser, as you can see here. It shines some light through that. We're testing it out on this little Modio model that we made.
Little. He's rather tall.
Yeah, so go ahead and check them out in the shop. Very cool colors for any prototyping or final product design needs.
And they work really great against the colors that we've been offering so far, the white and black and the other colors we've been adding. So you can keep adding more dimensions and explicitly sort of focused on elements in your projects.
Yeah, sometimes you don't want to spray paint them, and this is the next best way to go.
Yay.
Yeah, looking good. Okay. Well, let's share some news.
All right, let's check out what's going on in the news.
So each week I try to gather a couple of things that we're excited to talk about in the post that goes up at 2 that provides the easiest link to watch this video on YouTube. In this case, we're going to cover a bunch of them. The first one is the Enabling the Future Conference wrap-up. This was an incredible event. I was corresponding with a lot of people who were there and enjoying it and passing me photos. And take a look at this. This is a small excerpt of very, very moving letter that's currently up on Enabling the Future. So go check it out there. And to highlight a couple things that happened there, there was a crowdsourced project to put together, print enough kits so the attendees could build hands. Specifically, the open prosthetics that Enabling the Future has been working on. And it was a packed house. And about 200 sets for prosthetics were delivered. And kids and their parents put them together, and it's very moving reading about these experiences and what what kind of opportunities are coming to folks having these.
Yeah, there's so many DIY type things that people can do with 3D printing and this is one of the greatest causes I've seen. And another really cool one for like injured vets that we posted on the blog today is a new updated Raptor design that has these cool rails that allows you to. It's for soldiers, so it has like a little spot for like holding your flashlight or a knife. So it's a really cool thing. Yeah, there it is. The demographics of what this sort of design is for. And
it's great for adults too.
Yeah, I've even seen some little adapters, so like able-bodied people, with working hands can actually use some of these. So those are very cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. With all the effort going into making these and sharing them with people who specifically have such a specific need that you can take advantage of the customization, making the versions of them that also anybody can pick up who hasn't yet been exposed to this world has been a really great way to bring people in and get them excited and help them realize why it's a big deal and help them roll up their sleeves and get involved. So, wanted to talk about one topic that has definitely been doing the rounds in the world of open source and DIY and electronics in general. Arduino, they have entered the fray. They have a 3D printer. And some details have been coming out about it. Yeah. What have you guys been hearing about it that you're excited about?
We love that Arduino is, stepping up to the 3D printing plate to offer their own, printer. So this is going to be very cool to see what they're able to do with, the boards and things like that. I've read some of the specs. It looks like they thought of having, flexible filaments in mind for, I think it's using a direct drive motor, right? So they're.
Let's see. So the rumor, which is looking more and more to be true. Here's a Italian site. Is that ShareBot is the one contributing the printer that's been rebranded now as a Arduino one. So it's this Kiwi is the point of at least departure for it. And so they didn't necessarily design one from the ground up, but like Pedro was saying, I'm really hoping that all the ways in which people customize and share back modular pieces of code for doing projects with all the Arduino development boards, really hoping that people are doing that with 3D printing and finding things like better like startup sequences and just pushing that out and sharing it. So you can download something new for your printer to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely like some better UI in the little menus they have for the LCD screens. Some of the specs are not optimal. They have a small build area and looks like the glass is connected with some binder clips. So it's just their first go at it. We'll see how they develop it and do as time goes on.
Room for improvement and optimization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean we can speculate a lot, but we'll see, and I'm really curious to see what happens. So something else that we really enjoyed seeing in terms of its future usefulness. Pedro, do you want to talk about the WirePrint?
Yeah, this caught our eyes, and it's one of those things where it's like this has been right in front of our eyes the entire, this whole 3D printing, how long has it been around?
Basically what it is a low fabrication technique that prints 3D models sort of as a wireframe preview, and by extruding the filament directly into the 3D space instead of like layer by layer, you get really fast speeds. So we're talking 10x compared to traditional 3D printing.
Yeah, so there's some tools out there that will like make a wireframe out of your model, but it's still going to print layer by layer.
Right on.
What this is doing, as you can see in the video there, it's just squirting it out and moving it up, sort of like a 3D doodler or something like that. But
so this is more of an algorithm, right? So it's all software.
Software, yeah. And this works on what's it called, the circular printers and the rectangular ones too.
Sort of like a Delta style. And man, that thing sped up. It's like, whew, it's flying.
Yeah, and a lot of models could definitely benefit from this since you just need the structure around it, and then you can, sort of have like, I don't know, sort of like papier-mâché or something on the outside.
Even with this week's project, it would have came out really handy because I had to spend like 5 to 7 hours to see if my project fit my face.
Yeah,
And
for fit and finish.
Yeah, for fit and finish, it's perfect. And
And
this is
as-
cool that you
It
can.
looks really helpful, like the printing of that bunny face. And it reminds me of this project here, Fabrication. I don't know if you guys saw this one. It's about, I think it was about a year ago. It was an idea that you print just the parts that are like distinctively need to be printed, and then it kicks out instructions for doing the rest in Legos really quickly, Lego construction set
Oh,
pieces.
I've not seen that one.
So it's a similar kind of thing, where you're putting your time and energy into producing what is most useful. So like with this model that you're showing, if you just care about the face and how it's going to come out, then really you can kind of race to it. I think this is really a pro way to go.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the future of what a lot of the software is going to include. And I like how you're able to do some sort of infill, like sporadically on some of the areas that you'd like.
Yay, it works with Cartesian 3D printers. And again, this project is a collaboration between Hasso Institute and Cornell University.
Nice.
We'll try to
Keep our eyes out on it, huh?
Yeah.
And just a little sweet treat to wrap up the news. I thought this was a cute art project. Dangerous popsicles. So 3D printed cactuses that you couldn't actually lick, but now you can because they've been turned into these awesome, silicone molds for making popsicles. It's a neat project to read up on the blog because it shows you kind of efficient way to go from the shape that you can produce with a 3D printer right to something food related. You make that mold in food grade silicone, and you prep it the way they're suggesting, and you can then make food of whatever you wish. And making popsicles of this kind of consistency, there's probably a recipe in there worth looking at. So you can popsicleize anything you can think of.
Yeah, definitely great for checking out what the minimum size is for those little spikes, so they print out and actually mold really good. So
Nice.
definitely read
All
that
right.
on the blog.
So let's see the project from this week.
All right.
Yeah, this week we're still high
Halloween
on
mode.
Halloween mode, and this project is a really good addition to a sci-fi sort of inspired costume. Sort of the inspiration came from several different places, like Star Wars, Fallout. I wanted to make something that you could put on your face that lights up, but you can still sort of see through it. And I think I did a pretty neat job on combining EL wire with a laser diode and NeoPixel rings, of course. And really, a gas mask really has that shape where you can incorporate a NeoPixel ring or two, rather in this case. So we have two NeoPixel rings inside there. The electronics, like I was saying, is two NeoPixel rings, some EL wire. It's relatively easy to assemble. And the CAD was fairly difficult because I'm really used to making stuff that has like absolute dimensions. I can model my components and I can make a box around it. But this way, it's really organic. Like to do something organic and with solids is a little bit challenging. So I found it rewarding to figure out how to make this sort of cool low poly type shape. And we'll go over that in a minute. It is a challenging project because it does take quite a bit to print, 7 hours just for the mask part. In total, we're looking at maybe 16 hours to print. But all the parts are optimized to print without any supports, and
They fit all of our electronics.
Yeah, all the tolerances are test fit to print in PLA, and everything just snap fits together. Hardly any glue or adhesives required. We got a great guide on the Adafruit Learning System that goes over all the steps, every single step on how to solder and how. Yeah. We're using NinjaFlex to make a little pocket. We talked about that last week, and the EL wire it's challenging, but it sort of gets threaded throughout the whole project. It is very
Great. So it's one strand.
Yeah, it's one whole strand just threaded throughout the whole thing. And we're using costume goggles. Of course, you could print your own goggles, but I like the costume goggles that we have because they have sort of a detachable eye cup, so you can take the little glasses out. And I just used a binder clip to keep it on. That worked really well. And probably my favorite thing about this project is the way I was able to get EL wire into this sort of glowing eye ring. To use NeoPixel rings is very, very bright, but EL is just that right intensity where it doesn't hurt your eyes, but you can still see it from afar. And the little mounting part I made is really simple, but it was, man, I prototyped the shit out of that one because I wanted to get the tolerances perfect so that the EL wire just clips into it, into this little channel. So you just press it in, it snaps in, no glue required, and even...
So you didn't cut the EL wire at all?
Not at all. No.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's soldering EL wire is fairly challenging.
Oh yeah.
And then a little personal. I wanted to sort of
put dual printing here, yeah.
Oh, right. Even that one. That one's even better. So I'm using the technique where you switch out the filament. So I printed transparent first, and then a little bit of black, so that you get this this sort of illuminated effect, which is right there. Wow, love it. And of course, I made little slits so you can get your elastic band from Joann Fabrics or Michaels. And the custom goggles already have them included, but you can customize them to your own. To make it a little bit more wearable, I added a little bit of foam so that it wouldn't hurt so bad. This is like weatherproof foam that you can get at your local supermarket, department store for a couple bucks. And it already has like adhesives on it, like it's just like double stick tape. And that's what it looks like on the inside. There's certainly a lot of room for like customizing it more and adding more optimization to it, but for a week, this came out really well. I like that it combines all the sort of lasers and different types of glowy things.
So I have to ask, so is this, of the many costumes and costume pieces you've shown, what you're going to wear this year, or are you going to keep going and keep making more potential outfits?
I think I'm going to definitely. This is going to be my costume. I'm going to sort of add to it. I have like a vest that I want to 3D print some stuff onto, and sort of to go with like a sci-fi soldier type SWAT team person. So we'll see how that goes. We do have demo sketches on our GitHub and our guide on the Adafruit Learning System, written by the very awesome Phil B. We've used his code in so many projects, and I'd love that we could just keep sort of using that same code and make it just amazing. Like, this is exactly what I want. The animation looks very much like a Biohazard type icon.
Definitely. He's like master of digital behavior.
So robust and versatile. I love it. So let's go ahead and jump in to some CAD stuff. We have some CAD stuff.
All right, how was this built?
Yeah, so to build this thing, this is the base shape, right? So this is the shape that's the mask, and it's to put it together. I created a bunch of several sketches, and sketches are these 2D sort of surfaces that you can use to create three-dimensional geometry. And so what I did is I drew the sketches out on flat, and then I just used the manipulator to move them up. And I did a lot of measuring and things to get to go on my face. And one of the cool things is with 123D, what I was doing there is I just selected all the shapes, and then I hover over the gear menu and I click on loft. And when you loft between more than 3 sketches, you're going to get that bi-rail. And that bi-rail is basically like curves, super curves. And this isn't actually what I wanted in my project. I wanted that low polygon look. But it's cool that I wanted to show this because look how you can manipulate the little points to get even more fine curvatures. That's really neat. If I was doing something really smooth, I would want that. But I really wanted that sort of robot-y look. So what I did instead was I loft between them one by one. So I got 2 sketches, go back over to the little menu, hit loft, and loft between that. There's my first shape. You can see how it's sort of looking like the chin and the mouth area. And then the second one with more of right below the ear. You can see how it's making that sort of that nose-looking piece. And then the last piece there. You can still modify the little points there, like clicking around just to show that I can move it. And then the top piece there is sort of that nose bridge. And just real quick, I wanted to show that when you're lofting between stuff, between sketches, you have the option to merge it or subtract it or do an intersection. In this case, I was able to make it all one solid by just leaving it at the default where it just merges with the last shape. So that's nice and handy, really easy. And of course, one tip is you want to save between every Boolean operation. Man, it's sort of flaky. So
Yeah,
You definitely, yeah, all 3D programs are a little flaky, guys. So if you're getting into it, that's the fair warning. If you've done 3D modeling, you already know this.
Gonna have the trigger save finger ready.
Yeah. So there's our shape. It's looking nice and full and solid. So the next thing we got to do is we have to shell it out, and what I mean is by making it hollowing this out. But if you look at it, typically what I would do with projects is I have one surface, and I shell that surface out, and I'm good to go. This one has a lot of surfaces, so let's see what happens when I select several surfaces. So I'm just holding down the Shift key, and selecting all the surfaces that that I don't need, that I want to create the shell from. So I'm just clicking. And then I go over to the little menu over there, and then I click on the shell button. And whoa, mind-blowing shell! Look at this.
That's great. That's really handy.
Oh, cool. I mean, to do that manually, you would have to really modify
every size.
Oh, man,
make sure that all the wall thicknesses are all the same, and that's just you'll never get it right.
Right. And I'm just going to get rid of.
It also speaks to the stability of 123D. I mean, this kind of operation would probably bring a lot of downloadable
right there.
Oh, man.
apps to their knees. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. And you know, when you do a shell, you can tell exactly how thick you want it. You can change the direction from the inside or the outside. In this case, it's inside, and 1.5 mil is spot on. It's thin enough to print fast, but thick enough to be sturdy and durable. So there's our mask part, looking very sort of almost Iron Man looking.
And you could definitely turn this into like a scorpion mask or any sort of mask.
This is what it looks like, sort of the sketch that it just kept adding on top of it. This is one of the versions that I save out. This is like before I've done any Boolean operations. These are just straight, flat, like shapes, right? And just shapes. And you can see like I had spikes going out of the there's a lot of room to add to customization, like I was saying. Like, I didn't have enough time to print the eye cups and the goggles on their own, but
you might.
You know, you might, yeah. They're all there available for you to play with. I'm just sort of deleting shapes to show how many different basic shapes that make up this very intricate looking build. There's the little things that make the
it's not Halloween yet. You can always keep printing.
And then the respirator just gave a bunch of cylinders, a bunch of little things, and there's the sort of final piece with all the booleans and all the holes. That's what. Those little secondary respirators, they have a channel in it, so that's how I'm able to thread the EL through, because I have a channel, and I had to prototype exactly how, a tight tolerance, so it's not too tight but not too loose. And I'm using these pegs, like just these regular cylinder pegs that are like 4 millimeters in diameter, so they're a little bit thick, to connect them all together. Instead of sort of gluing it or using a screw, like a machine screw, I just printed a peg out. And the way that the respirator is connected is through these like 4 bigger pegs that just get connected into the mask. And there's like little standoffs too, so that there's some room. If I wanted to add glue, you totally can. There's enough room to add glue to permanently seal it. But I like that it's not permanently sealed. I can take this thing apart, take out the electronics, reprogram it, and put it all back together. So that's really neat.
Very upgradable.
Yeah, very upgradable. You break it down.
All the solids are available on our 123D gallery, so definitely check them out. Like I said before, you can update this and totally turn this into a different mask. And even beyond that, we have so many items in the store. Like after we had our EL already wired through, we're like, oh man, we have flowing EL wire too.
That just gives it so much more movement to it. So it goes with the sort of moving effect there.
You have to share the various tunes and tweaks you keep doing as the days count down to the end of the month.
Yeah, there you go. So we got.
I want to jump to our spotlight, so that we'll have time before we run out.
Oh yeah.
So we're doing a spotlight on Greg Zumwalt, and he's somebody who has been sharing stuff on Thingiverse. In particular, I'll show you. This is sort of one of his classic pieces.
Yeah, I have a video rolling too if you guys want to see.
Yeah.
There's a walking pumpkin.
Yeah, we'll definitely show the pumpkin. So he's been making automata and mechanical toy related projects. And so I want to show just a couple of other things that we'd sort of gathered together. And this is sort of a linkage piece gone crazy, but it's also a walking mechanical object. The Strong Beast related stuff from Theo Jensen. there are a bunch of these sort of classic automata projects like this Hulu dancer that basically you turn gears, and the way it's set up, it should be calculated to give a natural behavior or a little performance. This is, if you're curious about this topic, definitely go right here. We have this linked in a blog post earlier today. The Disney research piece on how the software tools they designed to help make it easier to make automata-related projects is fascinating. And you can see some really great resources in here for software, and also just ideas about what you can do to get what you need, which might be kind of a weird elliptical shape like this.
Yeah, it's so cool that you can edit the curve.
From a set of gears.
Yeah.
Here's a piece that was in the MakerBot, or made by MakerBot, specifically Jason Micutis there. It's a dragon. You can turn the crank, and the dragon sort of passes along. Very cute. And this is
so great to see in person. Yeah.
I love this project that Adam Fontenot and Chris Boynton did for MakerBot. Really elaborate marble run. And this video that we shared here, that has audio, so I won't play it right now, has them talking through some of the decisions they made and how to make the different parts. It's quite the masterclass. So I suggest you take a look. So now I want to get into some of Greg's stuff. Here's Greg and his wife. And he has a whole career previous to getting involved with 3D printing, working as a designer, a games designer in specific, making projects for Tandy and EA and other things, including a RoboCop and Predator game that were pretty innovative in their time for the way they could sort of manage to have a lot of content in a very small footprint. So he arrived at 3D printing having done a whole lot of woodwork. And so take a look. When he takes something like idea of making a picture frame, this is where he ends up. That is mechanically moving along there. This is not a special effect. It's a very cute project. So he's taken his fascination with the real sort of craft of automata projects. I had grabbed this the other day. It's actually, this stuff has been around a very long time, and there's a huge range of kinds of things that people have made over the centuries and centuries.
Wow.
And typically they're made of wood and that sort of thing. But he found it slightly easier to use a 3D printer than some of the CNC tools he was using, and he made things like this very classic automata project, a kissing couple. So you have essentially one motor because you have the one hand crank. He actually set up to motor, and of complex action. So there they sit and they twist and they kiss. So that's the kind of challenge from these sort of craft projects. And he's taking it in a lot of different directions. Like he made a Mr. Jaws project that's really fun. And this hand is a really neat project. One of his favorite projects, and I did an interview with him that's shared on the blog at noon today. And please check it out. It's quite interesting. He found this one to be one that he's most proud of.
So intricate.
I'll show just a teeny bit of it here. So he has a habit of making first, the traditional type of, hand crank version of these, and then adding a motor for a second version as he refines it. You get that natural movement, and it's interesting. He's thought out the logic of how to get this much behavior out of one set of gears.
Yeah, this is definitely the type of designers that we look up to.
Absolutely. And I had seen the marble project I'm going to show in a second that he created, and but I hadn't seen some things like this. So I'm really thankful for Noe for sharing about this. So he found a way to print, use PLA as a spring. This is a wind-up, only printed object. And check this out.
Woo! There's so much engineering that's going into like figuring out the infill that's going to control
How to
how
run.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's see here. And this is just sort of cute. We'll get back to these. We'll show these in a future date. This marble piece is one that I really, really respect. And at the very start of the show, Noe was showing this one, this pumpkin, which is very cute. So we'll stop the show there now and go. I find myself falling, completely obsessed with these projects and the kind of thinking that he put into them. So I highly recommend you go and see his projects and get to know all the range of things he's figured out to do. And that's the show for today. 3D Thursday continues, even though the Hangout is done. And where else can we be found?
Sure, we got lovely links for you to check out. Our guide is on the Adafruit Learning System at learn.adafruit.com. You can follow all sorts of cool posts from Adafruit on Google+. 3D Thursday, of course, is on adafruit.com/blog.
Don't forget to join the show and tell if you have any projects that you've printed out.
Yes, please do.
And forget to follow us also, Twitter, Instagram, Thingiverse, all the other STL repositories.
You got it.
We'll see you next week. Until then, we'll keep on printing.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye. We'll see you next week.